Why did you say that, Dad? Folks, welcome back to the VHS Vault. I am one of your hosts, VHS Jason. Next to me is a very enthused Jason Roy Gaston, because he's watched Batman versus Superman, Yawn of Justice.
The people who died in Metropolis were the lucky ones.
5,000 of them, remember? When I said a Man of Steel, it was 5,000 apparently.
It could have been 5,001 if it could have gotten me to avoid watching this putrid movie. This awful, self-indulgent, snotty, depressing, gray, awful movie.
Well, see, Man of Steel, they killed 5,000 people on the screen. With Batman v Superman, they did it just theater by theater to the audience. Yeah. No, okay, so this is 2016 Batman v Superman. The sequel, well, the follow-up film from Man of Steel, because this is not Man of Steel 2. I think that's a very clear statement to make. Batman v Superman is not even, I could argue, really a Superman film. However, his name's in the title, so I suppose he's at least a co-star. This is the follow-up. They announced this film literally months after Man of Steel was released. It was a big Comic-Con reveal. Now, we don't have to think back too far, 10 years here, but did you have any anticipation back then for this film? Was this on your radar of something you were looking forward to at the time?
Well, I mean, you tell me we're going to do a Batman versus Superman movie, I'm going to get excited. I mean, I'm a human male. I'm going to get excited over the prospect of a Batman versus Superman movie. But then, of course, my logical side is just thinking, this is the same guy who just did Man of Steel, and it blows. And it's going to be more of the same thing, and it's just going to be bad. And I know you liked Man of Steel. I did not.
I do. I stand by.
That's what I expected. Was just
real estate deals and all.
Yeah, it's just going to be more of the same, I thought. I had hope. I had hope that it would be good all the way until it started, and then slowly my hope was sapped away, like the way that a raging ocean pulls sand out into its murky depths. That is what this movie did to my hope. Every second, every ticking moment just stole more of my hope and joy until I was nothing but a withered shell going, who is this woman and why can't she act?
Well, we're going to have to delve deeper into that. Why do you feel like that? We're going to have to break down the film. And I think the biggest red flag in this movie is its seconds of the flickering screen moving at 24 frames a second, because we're retelling the origin of Batman again. And to me, that puts you off immediately, because it's like, why are you doing a Spider-Man thing? We don't need to see Uncle Ben die again. So we don't need to see the parents die. So you're not only setting it off on a dark tone, but a dour. You use the word dour, and I think that's a good descriptive word to describe a lot of this movie, dour. And it's just, straight away. But so it's not a great start to the film.
I don't know. I kind of like that they got Negan and Maggie from The Walking Dead to play Thomas and Martha Wayne.
That's probably the only reference.
I would have figured that Maggie would have still been a little bit miffed at Negan at that point. Walking down the street. And why didn't he? It's too bad he didn't have his baseball bat. It's like the guy walks out of the shadows. Oh, look at this. Here we go. Pow. Yeah. I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan, though. He's so much fun. And there was no fun in this movie. It was like, you like Jeffrey Dean Morgan? You like fun? We're gonna kill him.
Well, what I was saying was, until the moment of the chopper, I think there's about two or three really good scenes I like in this film. And one of them is, I actually really like Ben Affleck and that opening sequence where he's driving through the city, and we get to see his perspective on the destruction of Man of Steel. I like that up until the horse, But I did like the idea of that. I thought it was an exciting way. Go on. You're gonna rip that scene to pieces.
Here's the thing. Batman is rushing to save Jack from a Metropolis-based Wayne Corp building.
Yeah.
And he's screaming the entire time, Jack, Jack, Jack. And I'm sitting there in my theater seat going, who the hell is Jack? Who is this man? And why should I care so much about him?
He's the old dude.
You want me to care about him? Make him Lucius Fox. Make him Dick Grayson. Make him somebody whose name goes, oh yeah, Bruce has got to go save him. But no, it's like, Jack, wait, Jack, Jack, no.
He didn't bother me as much as I thought the strength of the scene of, I felt for the gimmick. I love the gimmick too of them replicating moments from Man of Steel from a different perspective. We've all seen the side-by-side comparisons and all that. I dug that. I thought it was a interesting way to bring Ben Affleck's Batman. And I'm going to drop a bomb right here. The other strength of this film is Ben Affleck as Batman. Who
I agree.
think is
I agree. He's a damn good Batman.
He's a damn good Bruce Wayne. Too.
Yes.
He and that's why I think his strength is more so. I mean, he's jacked in that Batman suit. And there's a great scene later on in this film. I think we both agree is a great scene. But however, yeah, him and even Alfred, Jeremy Irons, great. In fact, the one thing I was thinking every time he was on screen in this movie is I resent the fact we never got Ben Affleck's Batman movie.
Because I agree. We got
that kind of should happen. You know what I really liked about Ben Affleck's Batman, though, was the fact that this is a Batman in his mid to late 40s at this point, maybe even early 50s. He has gone through all the trauma. And they show that with the Robin suit. Ha ha ha, joke's on you, which I think is great. And the fact that he's still kind of got it together. So he approaches Batman almost like a Vietnam vet in a way that's been able to keep it together. And you notice when he's Bruce Wayne, you don't doubt the fact that he would be charming in his role playing because, you know, Ben Affleck smiles and the way he kind of carries himself. I can see how he pulls off the Bruce Wayne very well. Very well.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that Ben Affleck is one of the best Batman, and I think it's like a Val Kilmer situation that we did not get enough of that actor as Batman that we deserved. Now, he got a couple of cameos in a few movies, and that's fine. I wanted a Ben Affleck Batman movie because, yeah, he was great. I'm gonna go even further as saying that picking up with Batman late in his career was one of the few times I will say this movie had a stroke of genius because it was so, I don't want to say fun because nothing in this movie was fun, but it was interesting to see that type of Batman with this type of Superman and to see why they're in such a juxtaposition with each other. Because usually whenever Batman's fighting Superman, it's because, the writer said we have to. Here, I get it. I get why they hate each other. It's because Bruce Wayne saw the first movie with Superman, and it's like, this guy's got to die.
Well, you know what? You said there's no fun. I would challenge that and say that there is a little bit of fun, and it's the interaction between Alfred and Batman. That's the only time I'm even smirking in this movie is Alfred's quick whips and kind of, poking at Bruce. That's the only thing I remember from it. But so Ben Affleck's a strength. We won't do that. Henry Cavill as Superman here. It's now I haven't seen. We've got to watch Justice League, but right now it's the worst performance that he's done. Like one of the worst performances of any Superman in any of the Superman films because he is highly unlikable in this movie and incredibly difficult to root for.
He is. He's awful in this movie, and I like Henry Cavill. I do.
Yeah, this is not about Henry.
It's not about Henry Cavill. It's about the part he was given to play because I don't think anybody could have made the Superman likable. At the very beginning, we get the scene where Lois is being held by the rebels.
Yep. Terrorist.
Where we are introduced to Jimmy Olsen, only to have him shot in the head 1 minute later.
Well, he was a CIA agent.
Yeah, so we can kill Jimmy Olsen in a meaningless scene, but we can't kill Lucius Fox when it matters. Okay, got it. Um, Superman comes in and puts this dude through a wall without even attempting to disarm him. I mean, just basically, yes, my girlfriend was in danger, so I had to do something. And then later he actually says, I did it without killing everybody. I'm like, dude, did you not just see the dude you just sent ragdolling
Okay,
through?
maybe you didn't kill him, but he's a quadriplegic.
Yeah, he's definitely never going to like hug his children again. He's like a brain in a jar at this point, just typing out "kill me" in Morse code. Um, but yeah,
He's so unlikely. Yeah.
Superman in this movie strikes me as somebody who needed to be taken down.
Yes.
He needed to be brought down a peg. He had the sin of pride in himself. Like he was almost going a General Zod route where he actually was thinking, well, I'm better than everybody else. I don't have to. And then his mother gives him the worst advice ever. His mother gives him the worst advice. It's no wonder her and Pa Kentward married. They get along great because they're horrible freaking people.
Backflips. She goes, you know, you're going to be there for them. You know, you're going to be their protector. Nah, forget it. Don't do anything. You don't owe them nothing.
You don't owe them anything.
You don't think? He destroyed a city.
You are literally living on their planet. You are literally living on their planet. Who do you think you are? I hate this movie. I hate it.
Yeah, he's like, I just don't know what they were thinking with Superman. You know, they were just like, he was either angry or he was despondent or he just was. Yeah, it was a.
He didn't care.
In fact, every time
this was the unempathetic Superman. He just did not care.
His first interaction with Batman, all right, coming off a pretty good scene actually, where Batman straight out murders people with a car, like en masse, like even flies a car into the back of a truck on the top of somebody. Like Batman ain't hold back in this film. He is a murderer. There's no doubt about it. But their first interaction, I just want to mention, Superman is just a total DICK in that scene. Total.
Anyway, yeah. While you were talking there, you touched upon something else that made me so angry with this movie.
Yeah.
And that is, I almost said Michael Bay, not Michael Bay. Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder has already demonstrated he does not understand what makes Superman Superman. And here he demonstrates he has no idea what makes Batman Batman because he makes Batman a murderer.
Oh, straight.
And it's not even we get this slow descent of Batman becoming a murderer. No, it's like he's capping people left and right. He's picking up guns and shooting people, which Batman would not do. And I don't care what your interpretation of Batman is. I don't care what angle you're coming at. Batman does not use guns. He does not murder people.
It strips the power of that opening scene, doesn't it?
Exactly. It is
because Batman doesn't murder people because he saw his parents get murdered.
I don't think I've ever been as angry with a movie's interpretation of a character that I love than I was with this movie. Even Batman and Robin, I think, did a better job with Batman than Batman v Superman did. Because this movie, I swear, I don't think Zack Snyder has ever picked up a comic book before. I don't think he's ever watched the animated series. I think he just thought, "Ooh, that would look really good in slow motion." And just like pulled it off the shelf and broke it.
He's watched an episode of a cartoon here or there over the years and he's put his own. Well, look, to me, I do not like that interpretation of Lex Luthor at all.
Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Just to make him like, let's cast the kid that played Mark Zuckerberg and get him to play Luthor. It'll be like the head of Facebook is kind of like Luthor. And that's clearly what they're trying to do here, but it's such a miscasting. And
it's not only that, I could have accepted Lex Luthor as a tech bro. I really could have. I wouldn't have minded that. As long as he was actually Lex Luthor. But Jesse Eisenberg was playing Lex Luthor like the Joker. I honestly think that they got the scripts mixed up, and they gave Jesse Eisenberg all the Joker's lines, because every mannerism, every line, every little giggle that he did, not only was completely not Lex Luthor in any way, shape, or form, but I think they completely took all the menace and all the threat away from Lex Luthor, to the point that
They
he
also
was
took his
just a
grace.
clown.
They took his grace.
Yeah, he had no
Because
grace.
Lex
He was
Luthor handles himself in a certain manner. He is a professional in many ways, even though he's psychotic, but he knows how to handle himself. And here he does not. Like it's basically an incel. That's what we've got.
yeah,
for
he's
Lex
just
Luthor.
like he's mad because girls won't date him. It's like, I have $1 billion and girls won't date me. Okay, shut up, Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna make the very controversial statement here.
Oh.
They got Lex Luthor right during the end credit scene of Justice League.
Yes,
Whenever
on the boat.
whenever he shows up, when he's on the boat, he's got the bald head because he's very reserved. He's very threatening. I thought, oh, Jesse Eisenberg can be Lex Luthor. I can't wait to see where they're going to go. Oh, it's over. Okay.
Oh no, it's over. It's done.
Sorry, Jesse.
I
I like Jesse Eisenberg. He's a great actor, but
he is a great actor. This is
monumental, potentially career-ending bit of casting here. I'm glad he survived it. At least I assume he did. I can't think of anything he's done since. He's done a couple.
No, well, he just directed and starred in that film that it was Big Darling at the Academies. Kieran Culkin won Best Supporting Actor for. I can't remember the name of it, but he's making
the
like
Oscars.
prestige.
I don't know.
Well, he's making prestige stuff now.
Okay,
so,
good.
like,
I'm glad he survived it, because I like Jesse
Yeah.
Eisenberg as an actor. But man, no, bad Zack Snyder, bad. Shame on you. This movie's terrible.
I had a very interesting thing about this movie that I hated so much more about this movie than I ever have rewatching it, to the point where the infamous scene, the first thing that every nerd quoted why this film was bad, didn't bother me as much, and that's the Martha scene. By that point, I'm so disgusted with the film, I'm going like, oh, well, yeah, it is a soap opera. It's a poorly written soap opera, and this is definitely a soap opera moment. Yeah, like absolutely. In fact, you know the third act of this film? It's just noise. And really, you could cut that third act of that film, that whole fight with a Zod / Doomsday, whatever hybrid they've come up with there, is a 5-minute scene. They expand to like almost 40 minutes of this film.
I hate the last act of this movie. Well, they've already ruined Batman's character. They've ruined Superman's character. They've ruined Lex Luthor's character. And then here comes Doomsday. Terrible character design.
Looks like a troll from Lord of the Rings.
He does. Honestly, he looks like the cave troll.
Yeah.
And it's ugly, and it's just loud, and it's noise. And I'm going to go a step further. Wonder Woman did not need to show up in this movie. They just wanted to put her in because it's like, oh, look, we've got a Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot is a terrible actress. I think she was passable. She was passable in the Wonder Woman movie, but here and in Justice League and wherever else Wonder Woman shows up, terrible. Absolutely terrible. She was hired for her looks. She looks like Wonder Woman.
Well, she could in real life kick your butt. She was in the idea.
Oh, I'm sure she could. Right now, she's probably searching for my home address on her computer, so she could show up and go, "Hello, are you Jason or Gaston?" "Yes, I am." "Are you here to punch me?" "Awesome." I'm gonna get my butt kicked by Gal Gadot.
I think the only reason people got excited about it has actually nothing to do with the actress or even the design of the character. It's the riff by Junkie XL.
Oh. Yes.
The greatest theme for a superhero, I've got to say, is in this film. I love that.
I tell you what, I will admit.
Kick your butt when that happens.
I will admit, there was a period of time where, like, once every few days, I just crank that thing in my car stereo and just jam down this highway in traffic, like, it is a great theme. It is a terrific theme. It is an Oscar-worthy theme, and the fact that it was never given an Oscar is shameful and only shows the Oscars are just
Well,
bad.
to
That's
me,
why I
it's
don't
as
ever watch them.
iconic as the Superman theme, as maybe, some of the classic Batman themes we have. It is, you hear that, you know exactly who that's referring to. I will say for Wonder Woman character, the only thing I said was a highlight. I think it was a highlight from this film for her as a character was the fact that she showed that she could hold her own against hybrid cave troll Doomsday. Because out of the
We already
three,
knew she could because she's Wonder Woman.
yeah, but you get to show it, and it's the first time the audience is seeing her since the 70s.
There
It's
was
time to show. But she
there
was
was
she was holding her own.
yeah, there was a cool moment whenever Wonder Woman's fighting the cave troll Doomsday
Yeah.
Timu guy, and that
Yeah.
he like hits her and she falls back and she puts her hands down and she looks at him and she goes like that, like tilts her head, and
Smiled.
I'm just like, hey, yeah, that's cool. I like
I like that Wonder
yeah,
Woman's into it.
yeah, I like that Wonder Woman is a warrior and that
Yeah.
being a warrior makes her hot. I
Yeah.
like that. Whenever she
Yeah,
gets
and the
hit, she's
fact
just
that
kind of like,
she's
oh, bitch, let's go. I just love
that's
that.
it. No, it's really good. And you do get that. I know it was in the trailer, but it is a good line. I know it's cheesy, but I even smirked a little bit again seeing it for the 1,000th time. Is she with you? I thought she was with you.
That
Corny,
was the
but I
co-writers
like it.
talking to each other. Who brought her?
Yeah.
Did you put her in this scene? I thought you did.
Well, let's talk about the great scene out of this film. And I think everybody out there would agree this is a really great scene for Batman, is the rescue of Martha Kent with Batman. On the bat plane, what were you going to call that one? The bat, whatever.
The
The bat
Batwing.
drone.
It's the
A
Batwing.
Batwing. It was officially the Batwing. Okay.
I don't care. That's what I'm calling it.
A great scene, right? Brutal fighting in it. I absolutely love the fight style on how he had developed his fight style to be every punch is meant to be the finishing move. Like he's just full of finishing moves in that. And I think it's a really great style. Like I love that. I would watch that scene over and over and over and again because I think it's the one moment Zack Snyder kind of got right, to be honest with you,
I agree, and I've said it during the last episode. This is my favorite Batman scene of all time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, action scene. If we're going to talk about my favorite Batman scene of all time, it's Batman and the Joker in the interrogation room in the Dark Knight. But if we're talking about like action scene, it's this one because it's fantastic. And if you ever get a chance, if you've never seen it, go to YouTube and look up the Batman fight scene from Batman v Superman with I'm Batman from the Batman Lego movie playing. It's life-changing. It just makes it so much better.
Look, so to me that's a great scene. But this film is functioning as a world-building film, right? We have now got to slot in a couple of weird things in this movie. And before we get to that, let's start off with the dream sequence of Batman in a post-apocalyptic desert, which I still can't clarify if it's a vision or a vision of a future that might happen, or if it's a dream. So, which is a kind of cool scene, post-apocalyptic. I like the dust jacket, and I like the Superman soldiers. I like that.
I just want to know, why is Batman still wearing his bat mask if society is falling?
0 point, isn't there? There's zero purpose to it. You'd be wearing a hard hat, but maybe that's what it is. Oh, I don't want to get a hit injury. But anyway, for all purposes, I don't mind that scene. I mean, again, you want to double down on Superman literally being a bad guy in this film. We get to see that. I do think it's pretty cool seeing him just cut a couple of dudes in half. We just get to see the outer ridges of the screen, but we get him to cut two soldiers in half, which is kind of cool. But then immediately, Jason, he wakes up to what is another dream sequence, or is it really the
appropriately
Flash?
It's Ezra Miller trying to break into his house.
Yes. But essentially, now, that's not supposed to be a dream. He wakes up and that's real life. That's what we're supposed to. Is that what it is?
Yeah, according to Zack Snyder's original plans, that actually was Barry trying to communicate with Bruce in the past to tell them that they have to save Lois because
Yeah,
in a later Justice League movie, Lois Lane was going to get killed, and it would send Superman off to become
yeah,
basically evil and in dark side sway.
yeah,
So yeah, you saw it at the end of the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. You saw this dark future. You saw Flash in that
yeah,
suit and all of
yeah,
that
yeah.
good
We get to
stuff.
see way more of that. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so that was something that was actually supposed to happen. They called it the nightmare future.
Okay.
KNIGHT.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
Yeah, the problem was with that saying, I think you'd be fair to say, it's just not clear enough for the audience. Like, and I just think that was kind of poorly kind of done. I like the idea of world building and having the Flash be involved somehow, but I just thought it was executed pretty darn poorly, to be honest with you.
I agree, and I will tell you something else that I do think that that was the downfall of the DCEU was they were more interested in world building than they were
Yeah.
telling stories. It was almost like a studio mandate. Hey, we got to have Flash, we got to have Aquaman, we've got to have all these
You're going to
characters.
have those Marvel dollars.
Yeah, and I'm also going to give another controversial take here. The Flash movie did a better job with world building than this movie did because it just said, "Hey, all these superheroes live in the same universe and they're interacting with each other all the time." Here it was, "Hey, we're going to tease this and this is for a later movie. We're going to tease this and this is for a later movie. We're going to tease
Oh,
this. This is for a later movie. We're going to tease this. This is for a later movie." And it was annoying.
it
It was
was. I mean,
super annoying.
honestly, I wasn't impressed being shown the future of the DC via Windows Explorer. Because literally, that's what we're doing, right? We're opening up folders and we're looking at documents.
I did think it was cool that Lex Luthor gave them all their superhero logo, though.
He's a great graphic designer.
Yeah, he
Great
is. I
graphic.
mean, it's like I think this guy. Ooh, a circle with the lightning bolt through it. This guy, just the letter A, but not without the middle thing. Just an A, like an upside down V.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's just weird. It's weird.
yeah. And it's yeah, it is a bit of a the only thing that seemed cohesive, obviously, was the photograph, because that's the photo from the film, and the people in the film were in that photo. Like there was Chris Pine and the other cast members.
That was rad. I will admit, seeing that
Mm.
photo, and this was what, like 2 years before the Wonder Woman
Yeah, a
movie.
year. Believe it or not, only
Yeah,
a year.
it
Yeah,
was that was a good bit of world building,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they
That
should
was.
have just left it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like you could have had Diana Prince in this movie without ever seeing her fight. You could have done it.
Yeah, Wonder
Like,
Woman
and
made no
a good
difference in this
script.
movie at all.
Yeah, a good script would have made her interesting without it. So when
A
she
good
is Wonder
casting
Woman,
director would have gotten somebody who can act.
yeah. The problem is yeah. I think yeah. I look. I still never will understand that casting. And I
She's
think
got the
we'll.
look, and that's all they cared about.
I think the proof is in that, because I don't see us anytime soon reviewing this film, but she was really exposed in Wonder Woman 84. I think that's when the world went, she can't do this.
Yeah. I
Um,
think that she was accidentally good in the first Wonder Woman movie because that entire film relied on her being a fish out of water. And so her awkwardness to
Works.
me
Yeah.
actually came off as genuine. And that's why I thought she was really good in that movie. But yeah, after Wonder Woman 1984 and after Justice League, we were all just like, wow, she's
Wow.
really bad. And I have not seen the movie yet, but I want to see it just because I've seen a couple of pirated clips of Gal Gadot's performance as the evil queen in the Snow White movie.
Oh yeah.
They are hysterical. They are the most
Yeah.
hysterical things. Like I want to go hate watch the movie just for Gal Gadot as the evil queen.
I think there's a lot to hate watch about that film, to be
Oh,
honest with
most
you.
definitely, most definitely. I will
You
hate
know.
watch it, and I will enjoy every minute of my hate watch. Coming soon to the Jason Roy Gaston channel, the hate watch of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
If you could do that with a copyright, where you could sit there, have the film in the background for 2 hours, just rip on it, you might have something there.
Hey, you know
Um,
what I could do? What I could do is I could just record me reacting to the movie, and then you rent it on Amazon, you watch it on Amazon, you
Oh,
watch
you
me
can do
on
a
your
lot of people
phone.
do that.
Oh, yeah, and that's what we can do.
Simple.
We can get around that Disney copyright. We can
Director's
defeat those
commentary.
evil Disney lawyers who don't want us exposing what a terrible movie they made.
I think we could almost slide that into maybe a special show down the track. How's this? We're developing ideas for the show while we're doing the show.
Yeah, we're off topic. Sorry, guys. We're done with this. We're done with Batman v Superman. I'm just going to call it Batman
director's
v
commentary. Yeah, VHS Vault director's commentary. I reckon that could be fun.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I think we'll have to do it down the track because we'll need some therapy after this. No, this film leaves flat, finishes flat too. Like, even though it's supposed to be this epic battle, which always happens to happen in an area where there's no civilians, which is always kind of weird.
Well, they learned from the last movie. They don't want to kill people because the audience doesn't like whenever there's like a mass genocide.
Yeah. Like, the film falls flat. I'm not excited about the actual death of Superman itself. Those scenes are almost laughable because we're juxtapositioning from what looks like a government paid for massive funeral near the White House to Clark, who just happens to be declared dead. Nobody questions anything. Like, it's the dumbest thing in the world, which is like, so at the end of this film, no matter what happens with Superman reintegrating, he can no longer be Clark Kent because it's been given away, right?
Yeah, and here's the thing that I didn't get. How did they get Clark's body? Did Bruce get it for them?
Yeah.
It just seems kind of weird. It just seems like that is something the government would grab and not let go of. Unless, unless Wonder Woman just like picked him up and was like, mine, and ran away with him and nobody could catch her. But then that's just weird.
They would have had
to have taken Clark. Yeah, they would have had to have taken Clark to a funeral home. They would have had to have embalmed him. They wouldn't have been able to get a needle into his skin. They wouldn't have been able to do an autopsy. They wouldn't have been able to do anything. So you're telling me they just had like this backwoods funeral and everybody was okay with it? Nobody ever questioned it? The local mortuary was like, you didn't bring your son to me. Wow, Martha, I'm never going to talk to you again. None of that happened. And it's just weird. It's all weird. I hate this movie. I hate it. I hate every frame of it. Even that really cool Batman fight. I'm like, I love this scene, but this movie blows.
It's definitely a film that was such a massive misstep for them. Not financially, though, Jason. Not financially. This movie cost an estimated. Now, how's this for a range? Between $250 million and $325 million. And we all know
that nearly $100 million, some exec bought a yacht with money that he invested.
However, the film is still profitable with a box office return of $874 million. This turd burger made at the box office, which I was absolutely stunned at. Jason, that doesn't mean everybody went. It means people went back twice. And the third time for this film. I can understand that a little bit.
I hate this movie. This is one of two major events that made me completely lose faith in humanity. Was the financial success of Batman and Superman, and then
but
that other thing that happened a few months ago.
At the time, too, it just made me easily mentally dismiss any real care about the DC films because at that time, Marvel's on fire. Like, within months of each other, you had Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, which I think came out in March. And then in May, you had Civil War. So
much better movie.
Probably to me, it's in the top 5 of Marvel films they ever done. Civil War. It's a great Captain America film and Marvel film. And so you could tell that they were just not gelling at that point. And what's shocking enough, it took them almost another, 7 years for them to go, I think we're going to abandon this universe and we're going to start again. Like, they kept trying to beat this dead horse. And it was evident in this film that their plans were wrong. And this whole thing was not going to work.
Yeah, it's pitiful. It is just a pitiful excuse of a movie. It is a movie that is more concerned with events down the road than it is with events that's happening.
That's so true.
And
so
true. That is one thing that gives me hope about James Gunn's go at the DC universe is that he's saying we're not going to make any long-term plans. We don't have a cinematic universe plan. We're just making good movies that may intersect with each other.
Yeah.
And I think that that's going to be fine. Let's do that. Let's do that, please.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, we there's not much more to say about this. It was just highly disappointing, and certainly very concerning because these guys thinking they're on a winner, and they've got the next big blockbuster already planned. And I believe they were already shooting when this film came out for Justice League, and Zack Snyder at that point was still involved.
Yes. And
However,
I'm just gonna say, as much problem as I have with Zack Snyder as a filmmaker, he did not deserve what happened to him. He did not deserve it.
No, I'm
was
still not
awful.
sure. Oh, yeah, look, his tragedy was absolutely awful and probably does not need to be discussed. Though I'm also concerned, was he actually pushed out? Like, he comes out and says it's his choice to withdraw. I believe to this day he was under pressure to bail from that.
My understanding is that Warner Brothers executives had a deadline to get Justice League pushed out into theaters so they could get bonuses. And apparently that was what they were concerned with, was the bonuses that they were going to get. And so after the horrible thing that happened with Zack Snyder happened, and they knew he was going to be out for a while, my guess is they just decided to replace him with Joss Whedon and push the movie out anyway. And we've seen what it looks like. We've seen the utter cluster fudge of a movie that the next one turns into, but I guess I'm kind of getting ahead of myself.
We're jumping the gun with that one. Pardon the pun, jumping the James gun with that one. We will definitely discuss that more when we come back, and we're going to have a very special guest for the next two DC films, where we're going to have your partner from Captain's Quadrant, Captain Joe Dove, a show I used to be on. I'm no longer on because I'm now creating the greatest internet show ever created, called Talking Tubi. But we're going to have Captain Joe. Captain Joe, come and join us for Justice League and then the Snyder Cut, which is
now, Joe's the Irish fellow, right?
Yeah, he's the Irish one.
All right.
Yeah. Now Joe will be great. He's already done his homework. He keeps teasing what he thinks about it, but Joe, hold on, mate, because he will get to unleash what he thinks about Justice League in 2 episodes' time. But until then, Jason, we needed a palate cleanser. We needed something to.
We need something. We need something to take the taste of Batman vs Superman out of our mouths. And so why not a movie about hell? Because that is preferable. Hell is preferable than Batman vs Superman. And this is your pick. And I can definitely say this is a good pick, my friend, because this is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It is The Gate.
The Gate. Can't wait to go back and rewatch that for the 70 millionth time and discuss it again. Yes, this was definitely a childhood favorite. This is, I think it informs the kind of film taste you have, because if you love The Gate, if you love Monster Squad, there's a few films of the 80s you can test people with, whether they know film or really have good taste. And I put The Gate in there as well.
The Gate is fantastic. It's got creature effects I love. The actors are really good. The kid actors are really good. One of them is Steven Dorff, which I think is hilarious whenever you watch it. It's like, oh, that's the dude from Blade.
So cute.
He was adorable. I was want to take his little fat cheeks. Look at you, little demon blood god. After The Gate, of course, we're gonna go to an even worse hell, because we are going to be taking a look at Justice League.
Yeah, that's the one with Joe. Joe will join us for that one.
Yes. But after that, we've got another special treat, because people say you got to do more animation. You got to do more animation. You got to do more animation. So we're going to be doing more animation, but maybe this is a direction you did not expect us to go into, because we're going to go back to 80s animation in the vein of heavy metal for a little known movie called Rock and Rule.
Never heard of it. Never seen it.
It is a trip. This is one of those movies. I'm going to say it is inventive, but it's highly flawed. But you gotta love the animation, and you gotta love the bad guy because the bad guy's basically Mick Jagger.
Oh, okay.
He's
All
an
right. Well,
animated Mick Jagger, and it's fantastic.
I love when we do discuss content I've never seen before. It's always a treat. So I look forward to looking at that. So we've got lots of great stuff coming up on the VHS Vault as normal. And obviously, we want to thank all our current supporters and followers, these legends they are. Can you maybe, Jason, remind not only the legends, but everyone else how they can help support us on the show?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to support our show, please check out the video description below, where you can find a link to join us on Patreon. Patreon, where you can get entire episodes early, you can get content that nobody else gets, and you can order us around, because if there's a movie you want to see us get on the VHS Vault, by gosh, become a Patreon and let us know. We just did a request. Last time it was the Iron Giant. Of course, I love the Iron Giant, so that was
So
definitely
much.
a command that I loved.
That was like
And
getting a hug from a follower, wasn't it?
oh,
It
it
was
was,
like
it was.
they came out and hugged us by letting us watch Iron Giant again.
Absolutely. And you can also become a channel member by visiting our YouTube channel main page. That you get all of our videos early right there, and all the fun stuff. We'd love to see you. We'd love for your support, and most of all, we'd love your money. So please give us money.
That'd be pretty good. All right, we'll catch you guys on the next VHS Vault.